Bell and Company.
Yes, it is another great episode of the Bell and Company Show. I'm your host, Mario J. Bell. Hey, everybody. And we kind of sort of have a new co-host, kind of sort of. That voice you hear is finally revealing her real self. Hey, Libby.
What's up,
Hi,
Gran?
I'm Granny Libby.
Granny, old lady Libby. That's why, she's in the witness protection program.
This is my granddaughter.
Yeah, right. That's granddaughter Libby over there.
Do you have those strawberry candies that
we still got her?
Older people tend to have.
Dollar Tree special.
And that right there is Joe, who is back with us again, and we got a lot to talk about with Joe. And are you a little surprised? I know I mentioned it, but I'm not sure you're a little busy with everything else. Did you catch that we were going to be doing that? That she's going to be the real Libby?
I saw that last week and I laughed. I was like, "Oh, that's great! I love it."
Right. I was afraid about Joe might.
I love it.
When you say you laugh,
so
you laugh because we're not using just the avatar of Libby anymore.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you're showing your personality because
or her
you got
look.
A lot of spunk.
Yeah. I'm an old lady. What do you expect?
Yeah, right. So we'll
bring
just
one of those penny purses and just slap Mario whenever he gets mad at you. Whenever he makes you mad.
We're gonna use the dummy for that. She's just gonna throw it at me now instead of a chicken like
Launch
Svengoolie.
the dummy.
People know about Svengoolie if they're in Chicago. The famous horror host, of course. Who doesn't, right? He's like 75, but he's never gonna die, right? He's undead. So anyway, but yeah. So Libby is with us, but you still don't want to be in the pictures of the show, do you?
No.
She's going to be on the billboards.
Oh no!
But like
why
on
you
it,
tell me?
Like this, like for the video, it's going to be on an angle.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we could pay for those e-billboards. That would be cool.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So anyway, so that's
first, so I can slap you with it on the
not for the digital billboard unless we had like animated. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool.
That'd be interesting. And I don't want to forget. I usually try to bring you in a little sooner, but let's talk about our guest that we have here today. You can just welcome yourself. Hello, welcome. Who are you?
I'm How You Breathe. Air in.
Hey, nice to meet you.
My last name is Wagner. So.
I like that. So anyway, you were
breathe.
commenting. So go ahead, Joe. Joe was well. Anyway, I was saying about Joe that this show is kind of all about what we're catching up on what you've been up to.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of what Aaron has been doing. He's like one of the biggest parts of the book, even doing anything. Because I was kind of stagnating on it for a while, just because I got so caught up and focused on the band and all that was going on there. Once I took that time off from music to focus on it, and I finally got it out, and Aaron was a lot of the momentum for it. He was a big part of that.
Your official role with the book, again, I know you said it in email, I want you to say it on the air, is what do you do to help with the book?
So I helped with the branding and
logo.
Let's hold it up. There's a couple cameras. You do either one.
We'll hold it up right here.
There it is.
If the cameras can see.
And it's not. You got a website now, right? You help promote that.
Yeah,
right.
Him and Terrell.
Yes, my buddy Terrell Cohen has been by my side as far as probably would suit the same role as a brother. I consider him my
great
brother
guy
from another mother. So yeah, he has definitely been a part of the game of life and helping me with building the website. And also we've worked together in the past building projects, but with presence to Joe. I worked with Terrell on bringing the assets together to the website, also with the help of Martha Luke, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today. But
yeah, she was still feeling under the weather.
Yeah,
is what she said.
And Martha does what again? Say it on the air.
She wrote the about the author.
She's the about the author.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
She helped me with developing the about the author and the summary pitch, which is on the back.
You put it on the back of the book. I'm just
back
hold
of the
it up
book.
again.
Yeah.
People that maybe haven't seen it yet. Just there we go. Just
yeah, exactly.
There's one camera. There's another camera. We can switch. I'll just hold it.
Okay. That's
so. Anyway, go ahead. So she is also. I don't know. I don't remember if she's credited in here.
So
she is
actually
she's on there. Okay.
Pulling it from the words in the book, so that way we refer to our titles.
And then we also had some editors. Carrie Ann, who lives in Arizona. She was my high school friend. We just kind of knew each other in high school. And then Madeline Morgan, who was on a meme page with me, and she also edited.
And then your illustrator, remember she was on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sandra's awesome.
She's now in. Where is she at now?
Australia.
She's living in the land down under.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I think you said that.
She is. Yeah, she actually joined us yesterday for the
She did.
launch party, quote unquote.
As a video.
Yep. And she actually took the time and explaining what it meant to her to be part of the book, as it also advocates mental health, and that's kind of her like art has been a way of self-expression and being able to contribute to one's dreams and make it a reality.
Nice.
So but yeah, she also, like, it's kind of funny as far as the layout of the book, which is part of what inspired the publication, was there's a show that me and her have developed a love for, and it was called Hilda, which was originally a comic. And that actually, when I'm looking at the book, the comic form of the first book, it really inspired the idea of how to incorporate some of the stills and the art that started it all, in terms of Henry's journey getting into
the actual drawing of Henry Hippo. You had the idea, I thought, right? Or she made it better.
I drew it as a kid, and it wasn't even close.
It didn't look
to
even
like,
okay.
But it was still a good looking hippo. It's just like I don't have her drawing
Handsome.
style.
I got it.
You know,
So-
yes, Henry is a handsome hippo.
Yeah, yours was a little more I'd like to see the original drawing. Now that you
I
brought
think
it
that
up
would
now.
be really cool.
It was when I was 10, so it was definitely not.
Hey,
it wasn't a masterpiece.
So that's she was at the event yesterday via video, because she's in Australia, as we mentioned.
Right.
So
Mhm.
what was going on? What did everybody do there? We missed it, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, we hung out. We had Tim Scheiberger
He
come.
was also on the show. Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. My first person that I got on the show, the first guest that I ever
think
had.
so.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
losing
Wow,
track.
that's
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a
so-
while ago. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so he wrote that a Boy Scout goes to Spain and other stories, and he sang a couple of his original songs.
He's a
and-
Facebook friend of mine.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
Oh,
on
that's
oh yeah,
cool.
they enjoy.
Oh, I know.
Facebook together.
I
Vivian
love
and
their.
Tim.
I love their.
They like to bash everything I
discourse.
say.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is fun.
It's kind of
Bash
funny
the
to watch.
host.
I just sit there and like with popcorn.
I bet.
When are they gonna spat at each other?
You haven't. You're about to experience. I just
Okay,
friended
I love
him
this.
there and down, so he's gonna see it. You'll see. It's I just post stuff. I don't necessarily believe it or not believe it. I mean, but I guess it's the whole political angle. But anyway,
That's
so yeah,
interesting.
so
Love
so
that
Tim
dynamic.
What's
likes
the
to
angle?
comment.
No,
quite
I'm just
often.
kidding.
Oh, thanks,
Just
Joe.
kidding.
I think a lot of people might share.
We're
that
not going on
opinion.
rabbit trails here.
It's okay.
Anyway, so you're at the event.
ADHD,
No
right?
politics.
Right.
No politics yesterday. just enjoying the two books, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a fun time. Well, yeah, we did that, and then Aaron did a little like run through of the website.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was your role there yesterday? What were you doing?
So
He
I
kind of organized the scheduling of it, like what we were doing, but it was
You're the behind the scenes guy. Then. You get everything together. It sounds like.
I've had some experience when I was in college, putting together events and stuff. And
he does a lot for Jackson Adams as well.
I've helped, being a
Nice.
street team guy and helping out, be the hype man. I'm the hype before the show, so essentially
Guerrilla marketing, like somebody else we know does.
Yeah, exactly. And just my friend told me, why don't you put down the bass guitar because you suck. And hey, he was honest, and I couldn't play more than chords that were taught to me.
Hey, but you played in the music video.
That's right.
You
So
did.
and when it came to my my buddy telling me, hey, the enthusiasm that you have, I think you really should take it to the next level, and with graphics, and also your way to you're a magnet to those who are introverted, who need a voice, and to complement their be their enthusiast. And so part of that has been what this book represents, amplifying someone's superpower. And so I have a real passion for what resonates with me. I love to empower those who do the same, because everybody who I amplify their skill set, also helps me amplify mine. So, but yeah, Jackson Adams, I was so excited to have them see them here on the show, and Joe is likewise a very huge advocate for both mental health but also creativity, and I think that's what we all.
How did you guys meet again? Just
It's
I don't know,
man?
but I was at a really
kinda
low
drawing.
point. I was at a low point mentally when I think I started talking to you online. I think I got a picture of no, it was I got you to make an image for Primal Moon.
Oh, that's
Oh, there you
right.
go.
Yeah.
That's right. I did like a cartoon. I did these like little cartoons where I'd ask people to submit like a portrait of their band or artist, and then I actually would then use the images, and then like sometimes I would draw the picture, and then I would trace over the sketch. But in some cases, to make it faster, I would take images of the individual, and then I would reference tracing over it, and then make my own little tweaks to it.
I'm pretty
And
sure I
so
saw that.
you
That's
probably
where I would know
saw
you.
Primal
Yeah,
Moon on the moon
I did.
with him and a mic,
So that was all you.
and that was me. And
I
you know,
reached out for some imagery. I
yeah,
was like,
he
Nice.
and he actually, I want to just elaborate on the dedication of this man, just like he is on the street corner, for when he was for Primal Moon.
He was on
He
billboards. He got up on a billboard.
right there you go, exactly, in a farm, like what is a wasteland, farmland. But on that note, when it came to this man came, like, I think came all the way out to my job at the time, which was at a elementary school in Arlington Heights. He came all the way from where was you were living in a playing field at the time, and he's like, I think
I couldn't pay you online.
Right. So he
So
legitimately
I paid him cash.
Gave him
and
money.
he came to
Green
me
stuff.
at work, and I work in the evenings, and he literally everybody's driving in with their cars to pick up their kids, and there's Joe in the
in the line of to meet you.
cars to meet me and give me the cash and thank me so much for all the efforts I did on the cartoon. So I'm really like, and Sandra attests to the same thing. He did the exact same thing.
First time I met her, that so that was
Yeah,
my mentally low point, I would say. Well, actually, no. For the time I met you two, I was going through heavy depression. I was in the wrong sort of relations, for friendships, everything. of
Sounds
that
like
nature,
me.
and I just felt low constantly. But I was trying to find a silver lining and create my own silver lining in a sense by doing all these things, by attacking different realms of marketing and making new friends along the way, but then also trying to chase my dreams and having Sandra help. I rode my bike because my car had just broken down.
That's
At
right.
that point,
remember that.
I wanted to I was so depressed that I was like, oh yeah, that was probably the deepest my depression had gotten. There was a lot of thoughts, a lot of
remember that.
swirls, and so I remember riding my bike to pay her for the book a lot of times.
And and when you talk about someone who vests their time and energy into something, Joe goes to the infinity and beyond, which
Yeah, he even he rode his bike there.
he rode his
got there.
bike.
It was
And
15 miles. That was tiring, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun.
Yikes.
Downers Grove is a pretty bike ride.
Yeah, and I would even go back to the whole role we did yesterday too. Everybody that was there, even though it was an intimate setting of Joe's mom and dad, we celebrated birthdays.
Birthday of Joe's mom, right?
Of his mom.
What did we call the event, by the way? Just a signing?
It was like
It
a
was kind of a signing and a meet and greet and like a read through. So we just kind of did all that stuff. Had a fun time. Ate some pizza, some cake, and I was writing a book for my mom and I to work on, because I'm still gonna continue to work with Sandra on the Henry world, and hopefully continue to grow that in a sense. And Aaron, just to kind of add on to that world. How that looks right now, not sure. I want to find an agent first, that's my biggest goal as of current. But yeah, like I working on one with my mom right now, and I wrote it. At first, it was a different concept, and then 2 days ago, I just scrapped that whole entire concept and rewrote it.
Wow.
And it came out in a flurry, and it came out really well, and I was really happy with it. And I read that to her on her birthday, so it was kind of
Were you helping influence the other book too, or
so
you gonna market that one for him?
I would love to,
it'll go on Bro Junker Books.
there you go. I would love to, help out with that. Honestly, speaking of low points, I described it yesterday. I had my own little closer to the event, where I shared my story of, I've had my ups and downs, but I think ultimately with the support, I think moral support is the best way that you can get through even the, cancer is obviously, as we know, anything that brings you down to your lowest point, as long as you got someone or a group of people behind you. I love the fact that when I was listening to Joe cite this for the first time, because his mom said he doesn't want to, he wouldn't show it to me or read it to me. So this is after the event, she witnessed it for the first time with all of us, which was really like an honor just to be in the presence of what will be the next book, right? And then the fact that he's having his mom help illustrate it, which I found was she an art teacher, or she was some
she's an art teacher for the people with mental, I don't call them disabilities necessary. More conditions.
Special education teacher, but art teacher.
Special ed, education. So she does arts. She works at a day center for a company called Cornerstone out of Joliet.
Okay.
They have a lot of houses, like 20 or 30 houses all throughout the Will County area.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, where a lot of the people live, depending on how much help they need,
assistance.
Assistance. That depends on how many staff are in the house, really, at whatever time of day. But yeah, she is one of the art teachers, so she kind of takes them. She took them for a big, awesome painting session the other day, and it was really cool to see some of the artwork that came out.
So, but it's not a school. It's like where their homeschool kind of sort
of.
Well,
no, these are adults a lot of times, and
adults. Oh.
But they break off into their own classes.
Oh, gotcha.
If not they're
kids,
just
adults.
A lot of times, yeah. If not, they're just sitting in the rec room, kind of, sitting, vegging out in a sense, kind of just relaxing, a lot of times, or so my mom works with them, and they're just some of the best people I've ever met in my life. I went there one time, and my band did a concert there.
Oh,
and,
that's super cool.
Yeah, Over the Sun did, and it was really, really fun because they are your biggest support. They listen to all of my CDs. They listen they know every song by heart, and because my mom is always playing our stuff.
Oh, there you go.
So it's just really, it's really cool to see what community she's created there. And there's been lots of times, because working in the mental health community is kind of hard due to dangers, and then also just the fact that the pay kind of stinks for a lot of people in a lot of senses, and the insurance kind of stinks. And
but that's not a government program; it's privately run, isn't it? Or
yeah, I believe it's not for profit.
Yeah. Oh well, they don't have money either, right?
Yeah. So a lot of times it's more of that. I can't really say if it's a not-for-profit organization because they all live there, isn't it? I don't know. They all pay to live there.
Oh, that's true. I would probably call it assistant living.
Yeah. More
my wife
living. Yeah,
works with seniors.
She's like
who
a program coordinator for entertainment. It happens to be art. Then
well, she does classes, teaches them. She actually shows them how to do what type of painting she's trying to, or what she's trying to create. She shows them.
That's cool.
Yeah, it sounds like Aaron didn't know that.
I did not. Which I walked into the event, expecting that I would meet his parents at some time or another, and when
You
I
weren't
said,
thinking like the movie, like that kind of experience where you.
oh no, which I, by the way, heard there's a sequel coming out. But thank you, Ben Stiller.
Right.
Thank
all
you.
right, because you're kicking the can. But dude, he's great.
Oh
But
yeah, I love Ben
nonetheless.
Stiller.
But no, but on the note of meeting his mom, what she like, there's something about. I'm not saying that they're like all moms for the most part want the best for their kid at some point in their life. But like, yeah, when we have the great moms, I say there's a reason why mom is wow. Like, mom, right? Put it upside down. I saw this one puppet, like, I don't know.
Wow.
Wow,
Right.
right?
Okay,
Wow,
we
Owen
see,
Wilson,
okay.
wow.
Okay, there you go. So like literally, I remember seeing this like one cartoon. It was just like it was a puppet, and he's like screaming "wow," all over the room. And he took the letters upside down, and he said, "You know what, mom is? Wow, upside down." And just thinking about the context of moms, like dads are cool, but
Oh, yeah.
moms, they dealt with us for so many months inside the wound,
Yeah. They
carrying
made
us all
right?
over.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing my mom, I say the word privileged because not every mom has not every kid has a mom.
Yeah, the only I hear the only pain worse than pregnancy is men with colds.
See, that's how you take a moment and you bring it back up.
That's funny.
But
Wow. Okay.
power to having moms is that you have that heart, and your dad gives you the strength, and
I won't
so
argue.
I think that's the one thing.
Mom and dads are like they're pivotal. They're huge.
I can't imagine not having mine in my life. I work with my family, so
Oh, well, see, there you go.
yeah.
Bell and Company, right?
Well, no, that's not the
I know,
company,
I'm
but it
just-
could be. Sure.
Yeah,
it
bring
could
them
be.
on.
Right now
Let's-
they're going to come on. Well, they're going to have to do video because they're not coming back here. They're in Florida.
Oh, okay.
But
Still here though.
yeah, so interesting how we get on. So we always do this on the show. We kind of go in a different direction, but I like it. But what we were talking about is, you're meeting them and what you were doing to help with the night. I want to get more into the actual event itself. We keep
Sure.
kinda going
Sorry.
off on tangent.
We went in the direction of his mom and everything, but yeah, as far as the book, I would say so. Like in the title, I'm considered the book designer. But as far as the direction of the event itself, it was actually initially my group was going to go and visit and see this event transpire for Joe. And so, and our group is, the mental health creative group, and we were just kind of trying to help promote the event. But in other words, it did envelope open, and everybody started hearing about it. Mario started hearing about it, so forth. But Joe also had a flyer up, which I helped put together with Sanders' illustration.
Yeah.
And that, in a nutshell, my involvement was, I guess it's kind of layered. It's
And he made
sporadic.
these cards.
And I helped make the cards. I
Oh yeah.
purchased the
Very
cards,
nice. You put it
which have a
down.
QR
Very
code on them,
Ooh.
and
la
people
la.
at the event could
Did you do the
scan
website
them.
too? I think there's a website now. Or
Him and
something.
Terrell, yes.
So
Yeah.
Terrell and I did the website, and what's really cool about these cards when they get passed out is that instead of having all that contact info that happens
Takes
on
you
most
right
cards,
to the link tree.
you just go to the link tree by scanning it with your phone, and then you legitimately go to that link tree. And then what the link tree offers you is the website, the Instagram, and the Facebook, which at some point will have a YouTube link as well.
Primal Moon and Dead Harvest used to have the QR.
Oh, see what came before 2020, everybody.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, and me and Terrell presented the idea of like, okay, hey, here's a little bit of those who don't know about the book, want to learn more about it. You can learn about the artist behind the book, which artists are two, right? You got the writer / author, and then you also had the illustrator, so you can get to know Sandra and her current works, Joe's current works as well, so you can
Also, get to
Yeah.
know your community.
Yes.
Yeah, get to know the community that you kind of have
part.
created and fostered in a sense.
Yeah. So you can
Let's talk about that.
Yes.
The community. What is he talking about?
So
I don't know. You just create community moments to where people can all feel involved and just the opportunities, the art nights.
you're
friends-
talking about that.
The
I thought you were talking about
Friendsgivings,
the
he always
community
invites
around
people
the-
for artistic adventures. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's kind of a cool thing. What you do.
Well, I want to talk more about what you are doing. I mean, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
about all of you here today. But
Yeah.
let's focus on Aaron. He's the guest, right?
Sure.
That's what I
I
was focusing on.
camaraderie.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Well,
going
he had a
for.
big role in the books. I figured we got.
That is, you know what?
Oh yeah, the master. A
The
very
book
large
is,
role. Yeah.
I think, what really can just going, want to just emphasize how, although this is, I'm a guest, I feel like, being like Henry is sort of brought us an understanding of the greatness in ourselves. And so like part of,
Finding those doors instead of walls.
exactly. And so, I too have ADHD. I was diagnosed when I was like in grammar school, we'll say. And similar to the story of Henry, believe it or not, was very similar to a reflection of who I was.
Your
so
journey too. Huh?
my journey was very, very close to it, except I wasn't musically talented like Joe is.
I really feel
But-
like everybody, to a certain extent, has a little bit of, or maybe part of it, maybe the
Mu-
AD part.
Musically
attention deficit.
talented. Let's just go back to that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm not.
He wants
I'm
to.
not.
He wants to correct me.
I'm not musically talented. All I can do is write melodies. Like I got kicked out of band in 8th grade.
Hey,
You were the lead singer of the
But-
band you're
but
in. so
see-
that's
No,
talent.
I got kicked out of like school band.
Oh,
Well-
as a kid, he was.
Said
Okay,
eighth grade. Didn't you pay
okay.
attention?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but he definitely has talent now. Let's clarify that.
No, but back to the story.
No, I would even say just to clarify too, like I will toot the horn that's worth being tooting. And that is that the context of being musically talented, I say that it's, vocals are an instrument as well.
I agree.
And
but-
so and writing is also, and then, it takes one to be the lead singer and then everybody congregates around and then they complement by giving that message to push with some tone, some energy. But, likewise, they all work together. But, that's the one thing like I felt really connected with Henry is that he's using a creative outlet, which segueing into like what I started forming myself after work with NAMI, Northwest Suburban Chicago, which shout out to Lori, who's running to try to, fix things.
Your hat is on. Let's see the hat.
Yeah. So this is like this is the
That's
Com-
the logo.
This
too.
is the logo of NAMI National. So like I say that because this is it's a countrywide thing. And NAMI is they don't really care for the word illness, but they're working on changing that.
Just Nam.
Right. Well, the idea of like mental health conditions.
Not to laugh
is-
at it. Just
No.
Whatever you
You're
said
good.
that.
You're good.
Don't give people flash.
Right. The idea of like illness is so like, oh well, I'm ill, I'm never gonna get better. Well, the idea is you have a condition, but you will get. There are tools to get to be in a better place, and similar to what,
Writing a
Joe.
book, taking
Right.
medication.
Exactly.
Therapy, right?
Exactly, and like going to the context of the mental health creative group, which I started back last two Julys ago,
Yeah, I thought so.
and
We filmed a short film.
We did.
Well, let's talk about that. So that's
Yes.
not the NAMI organization.
That's-
That's something else.
No, so like the mental health creative group is something that I felt need to be said and more than ever nowadays for creatives, and that the idea is to congregate together and have discussions around mental health and do activities that ignite self-expression. So you may not believe according to the theory, as Joe said with music theory, You may have not succeeded in music theory class, but Joe, you are a musician.
I know I am.
And
I know. I was just more joking about.
I
the
know.
stuff.
and likewise, imposter syndrome is a essential component to being, a humble artist. And so I didn't consider myself an artist. I considered myself a artistic enthusiast that enjoys, bringing either having myself have my imagination come to life thanks to someone, who's farther along on experience like Sandra's, taking that to the next level.
And you've made the community an art form of its own.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I think Henry does too. He's the idea of just breaking a stigma around ADHD and making it more, we'll call it, it's one thing to be unique, but it's also like I think that Henry normalizes the context of being somebody that's different, but it also allows people to feel like they have something that's a gift. This one man told me today, who I gifted one of these books. He purchased one, and he said that, like, ADHD, to some people it's a curse, but it's also can be a gift, because by looking at this book, and he's like looking through it, and he says, this allows me to tell my the next generation that it will be okay, and you can take control of your energy and push it into the right directions. And so that door that might have been waving back and forth is now open and is bursting out energy like never before, because they had the tools, right? And
I still feel like it is a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, no, of
consistently
course.
for the rest of my life.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like
I mean,
and
I want to be clear. Is this like, do they clinically prescribe because they think it's an quote unquote illness? Then I didn't realize it was like an illness.
yeah, it's been seen as an illness for years. That's
Really?
why it was so stigmatized. And that's
Yeah.
why,
I did not
and
know
that's
that it
why,
was bad.
that's why
Okay.
anybody who goes to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, a shrink is what a lot of people used to call it in the 90s and the 80s.
Yeah.
It was
I think
more-
people still do, but yeah.
Yeah, well, people still utilize it in that sense because they don't want to feel like they're getting their head examined.
Well,
and,
what
like,
should be
cut
the term?
open.
Mental health counselor?
Yeah, there are counselors. There's just regular old counselors, but then there's psychological counselors, psychiatrists who prescribe. There's just lots of different
there's a lot
avenues
of
that
layers.
you could take for your mental health. Heck, I even tried hypnotism once. Come on, man.
Hypnotism.
but like, I don't know. I just totally ran off on a total rabbit trail when I went to the hypnotism part. So we're gonna have to reel it back.
You guys talk about in your group?
Well,
Hypnotism. That's a new one. I've never heard that before.
We don't quite do that, but I would say we color together, do coloring pages. My friend Martha brought in diamond art one day, and we did some diamond art coasters, which was pretty I would say
What is
trippy.
diamond art?
So essentially it's like color by number.
It's like
Oh.
plug and chug.
Think about like
Oh,
perler
they call
beads,
that diamond art. Okay.
but with diamonds.
Yeah, my cousin does it as well. She's got
He's
a lot
in
of
studs.
really cool ones. She did a Harry Potter one. that
Yeah,
was really cool.
my wife's got one. Well, shout out to my wife as well, Jenny, who's in the outside the
watching
studio
us, yeah.
watching us.
Jenny.
That moral support, right? That moral partner. So yeah, she also exposed me to the diamond art concept, and we do anything from music, listen to music, and talk about what it makes us feel and what it gives us light at the end of the tunnel. And
Yeah.
Do you bring counselors there as well? I mean, are you a counselor then?
So
too, or how does that work?
I guess, like, I thought about, and maybe I'll eventually get there, but I'd like to be like to go into being a CRSS, which is actually something that's federally funded
That's
by
pretty
the
cool.
government, and it's also it's
is
actually
that?
funded by the tax dollars that are going into marijuana.
What's it stand? What is that? What
So
is that?
CRSS means certified recovery support specialist.
Oh,
It's
all right.
only offered it's offered now at three community colleges including Elgin Community College. They have a CRSS program. And actually, one of the people who came straight out of that program that's helping run the therapy for the CRSS program at Elgin is an art therapist, is an artist.
Really?
So she actually had an art gallery there for the first time when the program got started.
I'm hearing a theme of the show.
So there's a real
books, some music.
Oh yeah,
I recently got an artist yesterday from Elgin who had a studio, and she is about to paint a bench for my friend. Who,
that's cool.
Yeah, whose daughter died. And
my
so
goodness.
like he's painting, he's
That's
getting that
Dedicate
done
the
for,
bench to the daughter.
yeah,
and
with
then
pictures
paint it.
and portraits of her on there.
Like a collage.
What I'm getting at with that comment is, it seems like it's a therapy in and of itself. The music,
yeah, just
writing
that
a book,
community,
drawing, art.
Oh yeah. I think, again, segueing to Martha, who isn't here, but in spirit, I'll give her credit that when we were celebrating our 1-year anniversary, I asked Martha, hey, would you write us an article about our group and how it, like, I don't know, it's kind of like we were talking about some ideas, and what came out of it was a tree or a flower. And the idea of, like, it's our human nature to grow, right? And if there wasn't that social connection, or even hence the creativity, we wouldn't be able to grow and persevere through darkness as the flower does or the tree does every season. And so, like, nurturing it with water and which gives it nutrients, and then love, which is the person taking care of it, with partnership of Mother Nature, right? The water and the rain, the sun, but also, like,
don't forget the tornadoes.
That's
we're
the
in the
tornadoes,
Midwest,
right? The tornadoes.
Just kidding.
And
you got to make a logo for it.
So we did actually make a
one.
logo, but we also made this comic strip, the gradual partnership of three individuals, which are my friend Terrell Cohen and Sandra, and then also myself. And the comic strip, each of us drew in our own style. Of course, Sandra did it in manga style.
It was really cool.
Does.
I liked it.
And then the ending result is me planting the seed and then nurturing it. And then Terrell, of course, put the soil down. Sandra put in the water. And then at the end of the project, or at the end of the story, is the three of us in front of a flower. And that flower represents my wife. So a lot of people, like my wife, don't consider themselves an artist. But she likes to color, and she chooses colors one by one with with what she understands works together as complementary colors for a picture. And so she developed she has social anxiety, and so by doing this art, being in this art community that we do monthly, she started recognizing friends, colleagues that she could consider family, extended family, that because of that group, now she has a support system that, although she's not, she didn't draw or she doesn't paint well in her eyes, she is able to start to build a potential and find a creative outlet. So that's kind of what that art piece represented. And then as far as the logo, Sandra worked with me in having a brain with it's got a smiley face, and it's kind of got its closed eyes because it's cute. And so the brain then is thinking, which is kind of ironic. It has a thought bubble, and each of the what symbols in the thought bubble ranges from, one a notepad, a paintbrush, a pencil, and then ... Sorry, I also should include the music note, and then ...
That's great.
So the idea is that the ... is what's your form of a creative outlet. So that's kind of where those extra dots are, in addition to, so there is an actual extra dot kind of encompass to what normally is after a following sentence that continues. Usually it's ... So we put an extra dot because in the dots in the think bubble are these individual symbols. So it's him processing his thoughts. But the idea of a smiling face is the character developing and understanding that the creativity advocates his mental health.
That's a lot of thought that went into the logo
and
for
this
the
was
group,
just
man.
a
That's
logo.
awesome.
And so I brought this idea to Sandra, and I had a little bit. She was like, "Oh, should we put a person?" I'm like, "You know what? Wait a minute. I don't like the person. Let's make it a brain." And so, but let's add on to it. So it's taken its own shape, its own character, and we've actually incorporated in all the different promotional material for each of our events, making Chex Mix and all that.
We've actually been doing stem cell research to create the brain. I'm just kidding.
Wow, that would be so.
Sorry to go down that wormhole, but it's
say
like
the name again, real fast.
So
of the group.
It's called the Mental Health Creative Group, and
I love it.
So self-explanatory. So I feel that identifies with a lot of people.
Heck yeah,
and it bridges the two.
Is this something you want to get like national groups to do,
You know,
or just locally in Illinois?
I just like how you do it, man. I don't know. It's cool.
So me and Terrell do it through our houses, so our apartments. So I do it. I started at my home. I do it every once in a while. Like Terrell will take initiative. So I live in Wheeling. He lives in Schaumburg, 2 different areas, right? Yeah. But we'll go to his house, and we'll go to my house, and we'll go to his house. We actually did, by the way, speaking of other organizations that advocate for mental health, wellness, and creativity, there's a place called the Awakenings Project in Elgin. Every Tuesday and Saturday of the week, they have from, I believe it's 11 to 1. There's an Awakening studio. Shout out to Irene and Bob, who founded the organization. And it's just an open studio. You just walk in there. You don't have to sign any papers. You just walk in there, grab a canvas, grab some paint, grab some paper, grab some
art studio,
and you just go to town. They have 2 long tables, and there's artwork, of course, on the walls. They work with the Elgin Community College, and they have an intern there now that works with them. And now they're actually trying to get art therapy into like senior living facilities and actually create another community space for people that have art therapy. So there's a lot of
tragic
things.
what like kind of like the government and school does to art. You know, it kind of stifles it and pushes it aside
a little bit.
That's an argument for homeschooling right there. But that studio that you're talking about was just, it didn't have any connection with like a mental health facility or anything, or a college. It's just there for people to use.
That's a good question. So like the other guy who's involved in it as well, he does a what it's called the Awakenings Review, which is a poetry and creative short story book that they release every year, and it's it's the verbal way of translating mental health conditions and challenges. But as far as the studio, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Irene is a certified CRSS. And so the CRSS, okay. So I didn't clarify what CRSS meant. So I know I told you what it is, the word,
at least,
that are represented in the acronym. But the program is basically using lived experience, whether it's substance abuse, a mental health condition like a disability, or just a general condition, right? And you're using your lived experience as you take classes on how your story evolves into what would be credentials for all you need is how does my story help another person in recovery? So that's the recovery component, is that you're certified to help those in recovery of all types, including substance abuse disorder, which, by the way, they have a associate's degree that you can accompany with your certificate that helps you become a certified recovery specialist for alcohol abuse. And so what's significant about that is the fact that
mental health at this
point.
Now you got
exactly.
too.
And by the way,
That's a big part of mental health.
And-
Addiction is right
I
up
guess you
in
could
there
say
with
that,
it.
and
kind of in its own category, I think.
right,
sense.
and actually, as far as the person who got me involved and understood what the Awakenings Project was Susie. She, I can't pronounce her last name, but she used to go by Norma. Norma L, standing for normal, but Norma L.
Okay.
But she goes by Rhythm and Recovery currently, telling her story and how music has helped her vocalize her current mental health conditions, and how she was a certified nurse and now and CRSS before there that was big and there was a stigma around it, and she introduced me to the studio, and I'm really grateful because it's being able to see that come to life. The Awakenings Project now allows me to see potential to grow this group. And so
This is all on you too. This isn't like you don't have the state or the city or anybody helping you. It's just you guys doing it.
I literally
It's a fun group of friends.
yeah,
pretty much,
just getting together, and everybody has their own interest. And actually Joe attended one of our events where we got together and just played, what was it, Matchbox games or something.
Yeah, I forgot what we were playing. What was it?
It was like a trivia game with silly questions.
It was fun. I had a good
Was it
time.
this thing you have your
It was
card,
not
you were talking about?
this,
No,
but-
Did we
card
also
game?
play like
Oh.
Cards Against? Did we play Cards Against?
We did play
Humanity?
Cards Against Humanities, and then we also well, it was actually a game that was
There was
in
one on the
relevance
phone,
to that.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Was like Cards Against Humanities, but with but a mobile game that you can join on the internet. And we also, by the way, with Joe, we had a Thanksgiving dinner called Friendsgiving dinner, which essentially gave gratitude to each other and company, and each of us had to make something or bring something.
Wow,
and
that's great.
we all just enjoyed each other's company, had some food. And my friend Hanan, who's listening, she brought a turkey. Her mom actually made us a turkey and brought it over. So I think that was like super. So,
Heck yeah.
right
Love
on,
the
Hanan.
turkey.
Thank you to
Maybe not the turkey, not too happy, but whatever.
well, yeah, it had a purpose,
I don't think
right?
the turkey had like much emotion at that point.
It didn't
Sorry,
die.
I
No, it
guess
didn't
I'm
die in
breaking
vain,
ice.
though.
It's a
I know, I'm
serious
joking.
topic.
It didn't die in vain, though.
Its
remains were used for enriching.
Yeah, right. See, there's a good thing to it. Everybody not only feeling mentally, but physically better. Obviously,
I
gotta
really
eat.
tried the vegan thing for 3 months until it came to vegan mayonnaise and vegan cheese. And like on the package, it read
Disgusting.
now melts and stretches. I was like, what did it do before that? And why does it do
Oh,
that?
boy.
now?
I'm alienating part of the audience, but I've tried it too. It's just gross. Maybe the
Oh.
meat I could see backing off and eating.
It's not
ham
bad.
and
It's not
turkey,
bad.
But that stuff, I still want
It's
the
the
original.
cheese and the mayonnaise I can't do.
It's got to be real. Well, then they could argue that, oh well, it's oil. Well, it's not made like to be fake though. Anyway,
Oh,
that's
no,
another quick aside.
there's something to be said really quick about turkeys. So if you didn't already know, why the reason why you have that sleepy feeling like you're in a food
Tryptophan.
coma?
Well, they always say that from that hormone or whatever.
Because there's a chemical
Although it's
naturally
low
made
amounts.
in the turkey.
Although it's low amounts.
Right. And
Unless you mix it with wine. Then
oh,
you're very
see, that's why they mix those two together. It makes sense.
So what were you saying? It is.
But-
It's not. It is or isn't what he's saying.
So it's a chemical that the turkey, I don't know, is born with it or it's given it, but essentially it's in the turkey. So that way, when you eat it, it actually, this chemical, kind of puts you to sleep. It makes your stomach fall.
Was that maybe an intentional thing for the group? Everybody could
Mm,
calm down.
Oh! I was
know?
just talking. Well, you never know, but I was just talking about
fell
the
asleep
general
on the side of
sense,
the
and
road
that's-
on the way back. It was great.
Hey, there you go.
So-
the turkey kicked in.
That calmed you down.
Well, and so that turkey, that's why on Thanksgiving we're always feeling like lazy and don't want to do anything.
I don't eat a lot of turkey.
Watch
I eat all the
football.
stuffing though.
Plus the
See,
massive amount of carbs.
I-
That'll give you the sugar hit.
and
And
I
then you'll
do have an
crash.
issue. I have diabetes. So
Oh,
there you
well,
go. I
I
don't eat the turkey.
well, and you know what? I started going gluten free. I don't have celiac, but it's
Whoa.
helped me my gut. I
Yeah.
don't have celiac though, but it's really the benefits of subsidizing gluten in your diet is really helps you enjoy food as opposed to suffering from like
So
being
you think
bloated.
it's gluten? I'm being told it's too much sugar and salt.
Oh well, you know,
What do
everybody's being told different
Something,
things.
So do you
It's
eat a
always-
lot of Ezekiel bread?
We can't eat
Yeah.
anything
Have you
if you
eaten
listen
that?
to most of the
Oh,
nutritionists,
diabetes. Yeah.
Well,
It gets
Ezekiel
crazy.
bread's good. Have you ever tried?
No,
It's
I'll try. Does it
I've
have
never
dough
even
in
heard
it?
of it.
What is it?
You never even heard of it.
Yeah, what is that?
It's not bad. I mean, it's a very, very, very natural, very gluten-free, very bread sort of.
Oh yeah.
It's crispy and made with a lot of seeds and stuff.
Well, what could relate to what we're talking about is maybe
Yeah.
it helps. Like you just said, you want to go gluten free. Do you think it helps with the mental health?
Oh well, yeah.
ADHD specifically.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, connecting to ADHD, did you know white bread actually enhances ADHD? It does not like to do it. By taking and I found this out from a friend or a friend's mother who actually who also had a child with ADHD, and she's told my mother, like, you know, they were just talking about things, and then she's like, "Oh, you want to know a fun fact?" And she's like, "Sure. Did you know that white bread, like, this is the reason why I don't feed my child white bread?" And she's like, "Why?" She's like, "Because it something in the bleach in white bread, because it's not real. It's artificial. It's like
Yeah.
American cheese. It's not real."
What?
Yeah.
They
Just
enrich-
kidding, I
it's
do
called
that.
No, it's
enriched
okay.
For a reason.
It's enriched for a reason,
Yeah.
and enriched like wheat. It's just like what? But enriched flour. That's what I was looking for. But yeah, anyway, it actually does not help those with ADHD. So when you eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich as a child, any advice to parents listening, do not feed your kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that is called Uncrustable.
Yeah. Well,
Because
I was
it
going to
is
say
not
don't do
good.
white bread at
I
all.
just had one today.
We're
Well,
gonna
there you
do it
go.
on that bread. What was the bread you said again? What's it called?
Ezekiel bread.
Yeah.
Don't eat it on
You
Ezekiel
can't eat
bread.
bread.
It would
Ezekiel
not
bread either?
taste good on
Okay, all right,
Ezekiel
all right.
bread.
But
Yeah, I had
So-
PB and J.
So you're touching on it a little bit. We're talking about there's
Oh
we could
my
do 5
goodness.
hours on this.
we
But
could.
What about diet? Do you talk about this in the group?
So
diet.
So I actually took a course through NAMI that's called Hearts and Mind, and it talks all about like health.
Didn't you
as
go to the
being one of the
conference or
points.
something?
And I went to the
Yeah.
NAMI conference as well, and I invited the group to go. And so yeah, as far as like connection with physical health, we've done walks together. I'm part of a NAMI walks group, NAMI moves.
I went on the NAMI walk one time. The one in Chicago.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
the-
Oh yeah, they also
the
have
5K.
another
Yeah,
larger walk. They do with everybody.
Do you do a lot of this like all like full time, or what is your day job? Then?
So yeah, that's kind of funny. So like, I volunteer. I go to these things for my own well-being, but
Sounds like you spend a lot of time doing this, which is not a problem.
well,
I'm just wondering what
and that's why like when I was working a night job at the time, I would go to these different, like I would go to the NAMI walks or go to the Awakening or this, that, or the other. But then because I was a night custodian and for a school district, school district 25.
that was the connection.
And
you were actually
then
working there as a
yes,
custodian.
and
Got it now. Okay.
years later, I've now started being a program assistant which is another word for like a paraprofessional or a student aide for Consolidated Learning Academy. And it's being able to know that I was a special ed kid at one point, going through the school system and trying to find
Where is that located?
It's over in Rolling Meadows, and it's the guy who founded the school actually felt that he wanted to restructure the school system and bring a school that would help those with those types of needs that weren't being met in the regular school system. And so he created the Consolidated Learning Academy, CLA, and the people there are just huge hearts. There a lot of them are parents or maybe just because they aren't parents, they are taking care of these kids as if they're their own. And I think so
privately funded or
this is
state.
I'm
city?
not entirely sure personally, but I know it was funded by this gentleman, and that's why his name is stated as the name of the school. But he
Say the name
separated
one more
himself.
time. Say it kind of fast.
It's CLA, but it stands for Conyers Learning Academy, and that's his last name, of course.
You got to get the book that he's writing and this book in there as part of it. You got to read that.
Speaking of the school that I work at, there's a lady. If you go to the website, her name is Jenny Orth. Shout out to her. She actually helped in the giving feedback about the editing a little bit, just a tight before it went to print. And I asked her, hey, would you review this book? And I also asked she's like my supervisor, but I asked her name is Jessie Bussey, shout out. She is the teacher I work with the one-on-one students. And she was like, I asked her if she would look at it. She was more than grateful to look at it, look through it. This is phenomenal. I have a few little bing ideas, but she thought it was really well done. She was so excited it was being, self-published somehow, published. And they both just gave me a hug and said, hey, where's the best for this book, even though it's not yours and this is your buddy Joe's. But the one lady, Jenny Orth, actually gave me a testimonial and I put it on the website.
Yeah.
And
wonderful.
She's
it's really cool to read.
I've been able to advocate,
a couple of friends
tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we've been able to tell her, tell her the updates. And now that there's an actual update, that there's a website now, she's going to be able to see her name right on the website.
Oh, everybody loves seeing that, right? It seems a contribution.
Yeah,
it's always fun to see.
Exactly.
So what is next for you guys? You going to do like the book tour thing? I mean, you guys both work day jobs.
I don't know.
Joe's moving at one point.
I know.
But I'm planning on
the next month or so.
That's the main goal. The main goal is just getting that agent.
Oh, so
no tour yet.
Like
going to stores and reading like you did with this event. Do another one.
If I get the agent, then we don't have to it'll help get the publisher to get me into stores so that I can do more reads. Because I'll have to go and DIY at different places unless I actually have the ISBN and I'm able to be in stores.
That makes sense.
And, so that's why I want the agent, because I kind of want the brand power of whatever they can get me into, whatever publisher they can help me.
And you're gonna help them with that, publicity.
I'll be part of the,
I'll definitely have him on the process of the editing process and of the next books and whatever.
Work as a team.
Yeah, because I want to have him, Sandra, and with Henry's World for a while.
Yeah.
I think we got a new movement here. You guys are going to be like big authors on top of helping out with the mental health thing.
Well, I'm hopeful that he creates his book soon too.
Actually,
I've read some of his stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're working on writing one for real?
Well, so I had some ideas. I wrote them on paper. I've been sitting on it for years, but it's finally coming to fruition.
In the future to be announced, right?
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because fortunately we have our phones in our hand, but as far as stories, man, or ladies and gentlemen, I would say, because there is one to my other side.
Yeah. Granny,
love you,
Grandma.
And the funny part is, ladies and gentlemen, because there are both two ladies here and two gentlemen and another guy over there managing us. So this is literally the epiphany of that. But anyway, bottom line is, I, similar to Joe, I had this story in my mind that was inspired by a friend of mine who he's like the same guy I told you that told me to put down the bass guitar and start doing stuff. So
you're working on it. It's not necessarily officially. Joe's pushing it right on the air. Now you got to do it, right?
Well, it's really funny because I've been seeing more and more signs that I should be doing this.
I'm lighting a fire under his butt.
I see.
And speaking of lighting fires, I don't know if this is intentional because I did share this with Mario that I have been working on some names, and so it's maybe revealing it on public radio. So I'm going to quote this, but the idea of the name of this book, one of the two, or there's two names. One is called Mars and the Burning Spirit, and the other one is called Mars and the Jungle Jam. And this is to pay tribute to my buddy, who I consider another brother, who told me put down the guitar and start being enthusiastic about the people you feel need to be heard. And so it's about a little monkey named Mars, Mars the monkey, and his friend Sonny the bear.
We got all animals representing things. We got a hippo. We
Yeah,
got the Mars, the bears.
Yeah,
this is great.
That's the way we do it here. We're wild.
We actually got a whole hour already. Can you believe that? We keep going. But it was great having you here. I love hearing about it. I'm sorry I missed the event, but it sounds like you guys had a lot of fun. Thanks for coming, Aaron. Appreciate having you here.
Thank you. Could I have the opportunity of just sharing one little picture? Just to give you and
before we wrap up, you wanted to show some. I forgot we were going to talk about the pictures. We got. I wanted to know all about what you're doing with the organization.
Oh well,
name it. The two organizations again.
I'll name the organizations. Joe, you want to do the pleasure of saying this one?
We got NAMI right there.
Yep, there you go.
And that's nationwide, not just
that
in
is
Illinois.
Exactly. It's nationwide.
Yeah, you could get involved in them. They do a lot of events throughout the year.
And there's one in about just every state. So if you go to NAMI National's website, you can learn about the Illinois one, and there are ones in the suburbs too. Okay, so just know that find your community,
Chicago,
and you can join one, and you can join the movement, because we need to break this stigma as a group.
Your logo?
So speaking of mental health creative group, go to our Facebook page. I know you were asking about that too.
Yes.
So the mental health creative group is on Facebook public. We do have some questions we ask you just to make sure that you're an advocate. Right, exactly. You're not a troll to those with a mental health condition or those who have a creative outlet that may have a condition like depression or whatnot. But we just want to make sure we have a safe space. But so yeah, you can check that out on Facebook or Instagram. And that's Mental Health Creative Group on both platforms. And then this guy is similar to his drawing, really quick. It's similar to Joe's drawing with his little doodle of Henry. This man right here is Leo the lion, and he's a flower lion and lives in a field of flowers. And this is what inspired me to then create a guy named Mars, and then a bear named Sonny the bear, and so on. So
cool.
This is his jungle of speakers and guitars and conga drum.
Not the logo for the.
So it's not the logo for the group.
Separate.
This is part of the book that I'm working on.
That's really cool.
I'm gonna be truthful with you. Of titles, I like Mars and the Jungle Jam. That's my
the expert opinion.
Okay,
I'm a published author.
Well,
no, that's just my personal favorite.
No,
I like the burning spirit, but just like I felt more leaning towards like that gets me excited to open the book, like to the Jungle Jam.
So I'll just, because I know we're going with time, but as a response, the reason I got the idea of the Mars and the burning spirit was what we were talking about here was like how you're burning my spirit to ignite it, right?
That's good.
So my friend always told me, dude, you like every time he tries to put away this project of the Drexel Mars project. And yes, Drexel, I just quoted your name here on national or public radio. Okay.
Oh, Drexel.
So you're going to be a name at some point if you're not already. But he has always purely felt his purpose is to be a musician and spread the world with both music in Espanol and in English. And so part of his mission was to bring that bridge, kind of like Chuck Berry, bring those people together from both sides. And so the essence of the burning spirit is, he told me, I always keep trying to think about putting down the project of Mars or of my project, and then I always keep bringing it back and telling him, you will just keep going. We released an album called Lost and Found literally 3 years ago, which then was called Drexel Mars and the Jungle Jam.
Wow, it all comes together.
So it all comes spiraling back and forth.
Cool.
Wow.
So that's the whole, when you think about it all coming back,
we want to check out the page now. Again, the page on Facebook for you.
Yeah. Well, my page is just Aaron's Wagner.
No, not your specific page. The page for the group.
Oh, okay. So the Mental Health Creative Group. So you just look up Mental Health Creative Group and on Facebook and Instagram, and
Excellent.
you can check it out. And we'll have a website in coming spring.
And soon to be an author yourself.
Soon to be an author.
Thanks again for coming, Aaron. It was great. Like we could go on for hours and talk about it. We probably will have you back again for something else.
Be back on the adventure.
Look at all the art he's got here. He brought a bunch of pictures. We didn't get to show them all. But thanks for coming anyway. It was wonderful hearing your story and how it tied in with Joe and his book. Joe, thanks for being here. Of course, there we go.
Check out the website.
Grandma Libby.
And Grandma Livy, yeah.
And
Henry the Hyper Hippo. What's the website? HenryTheHyperHippo.com?
Or it's currently
brojunkerbooks.weebly.com.
Oh, okay.
That's
it's under
right.
the author's company name.
Exactly. But it's all Henry, and it will continue progressing with the other books.
Yeah, whatever books come out.
I guess there's more than one book at some point. I get it.
That's
all right.
correct.
Well, thank you very much for being here.
At a more rapid rate, if I can find that.
Like
Joe, what doesn't Joe do? Again, thanks for being on the show again today. Joe was back, and Libby, the new Libby, the real Libby, actually. Yeah, take care. That's right. Everybody, thanks for being here. Have a great night. And keep listening. And, of course, we're now going to be on all of the podcast platforms, so check it out again. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Heck yeah.